So today's the day that 1.5 is released. There's been a lot of work since the last update, 1.4 that we released. We'll take a look. If you come to the main GitHub page here, take a look down here. We put a little scope of all the stuff that's included in 1.5. We did have to remove some of the previous alt uniforms that we put in due to duplicate and shared textures. But we did add the Bears retro, Packers, Vikings color rush. There was a couple that were added to this build. But some of the bigger highlights of this release is going to be around the work that Flame of Hope and CujoMatty did. Those two guys are awesome with what they did for us. So they put together custom gloves and custom cleats for all 32 teams. It was a huge lift. And aside from that, we have coaches, updates, some stadiums, some additional uniforms, as I mentioned. The fans that CCGames worked on, and everybody, just such a huge collaborative effort. It was really cool to work on this and to see from where we started to what we have now. And I think everyone's going to be really excited to to jump into 1.5 and play now that we have cleats and gloves, because I know that was a big ask and things that came up early on in the project. So let's jump into it. When you come to the site, this is going to be updated. You're going to come to the main GitHub site, but to download, you'll scroll down here, and under installation, it'll be here, available releases. This will be updated when you look at this. It'll be version 1.5. For anyone that has an existing build already set up, you're not going to need the full build. All you're going to need is the patch-only file. Download that, you'll extract it, and you'll copy it and replace what's in your existing directory. Something that I want to call out for everyone is that there was some confusion and something was brought up about the directory name and how it might have been correlated back to a release version. So it's not. I just want to kind of call that out. So anyone that has 1.4 and earlier, your folder, the PCSX directory, will be named the NFL 2K5 res_16. I called it that only because it's built off of the stable version 1.6 emulator. So what I've done though is I've renamed the folder. So anyone with 1.5 and newer, you'll have a slightly different name. It's not going to change the way you apply the fix updates. So don't worry about that. So again, just to download, what you'll do is you'll click the one that you want, full or patch, and then this will take you to the button selection. Now this page, all this is for is, do you want to play the game with PlayStation buttons, or do you want to play the game with Xbox buttons? It's really up to you. Pick the one that you want. And then this page here, when you're ready to download, there's going to be a download link here, and you just click on this and it'll start your download for the one that you selected. I already have the packages, obviously. So next we'll take a look at setting up. So after you downloaded the package, you're going to have your zip file. I have them both. What you're going to do is you're just going to go ahead and extract it. So let's do the one file. Let's do the full setup. I'm going to take a look at this directory. Inside the directory, you're going to have the ISO, which is going to include the ULE that you're going to need to create that virtual disk. And then here you can see I changed the name of it. So the directory is going to be PCSX2_NFL2KR. And this is the full 1.6 stable release of PCSX2. The only thing you're going to have to do is add your own BIOS. We won't include that for legal reasons. So what I did was I created on my local driver, I wanted to live this demo directory. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to actually copy this over. Alright, so here's my directory. Alright. There's a README and there's a document included to help kind of go through, and it calls out some information here. If you want to check that out, that's fine. And what we'll do is we will launch the PCSX2 from within this. So this is the full 1.6 stable. So we're going to go through the full setup real quick. So we're going to run this, configure, and then take a look at memory cards. So these don't exist. It must just be something that's stuck here. So what we'll do is we'll eject these, and then we will select the high, and we're going to insert that into the port 1. We'll select low, and we'll insert that into port 2. Okay. So okay there for the memory cards, and then I'm just going to take a look in the directory. So these are here. I don't know why these are here. You can just trash them or just reassign them, and you should be fine. So this is going to include the week 1 ratings that went with the project. So from there, we can take a look at plugin BIOS selector, and just make sure that you have your BIOS selected in here, whatever yours is. All the plugins should default to where they need to be. This mod is built around Topaz TK's plugin for the emulator, which is based off of the AVX2 instruction set. So if your CPU doesn't support the AVX2 instruction set, then you won't be able to see the texture. So you can check that by running CPU-Z or another utility. And I don't even know if I have CPU-Z, so I'll just launch this. Hopefully it goes pretty quick here. Or you can go right to your CPU vendor's website and check it out. Check for updates. I don't really need that. Is it going to load for me? So if you load this, you can take a look here. Instructions. What's so SSE? All right. What do we got here? AVX, AVX2. So right here is another quick way you can just check to see. So it's supported. And I'm using an AMD 3900X chip. So common chips today will support it, but if you don't have a chip that supports it, then you're not going to be able to benefit from the textures. So let's keep going here. The video plugin setting, we'll take a look at this. I always just say, instead of default, just change this to be whatever your graphics card is. The rest of this you can leave alone, or if you're savvy enough with it and comfortable, you can go ahead and make changes that you want. This piece here, the texture manipulation functions, is what actually swaps the texture files for us, which is the plugin. So I'm going to OK this. And Dev9, so this is, actually before we Dev9, you can check your audio to make sure that that's set to what you want. You really want to go through this and just make sure it's set to what your hardware is. For controllers, the plugin, it's not a bad idea to come in here and remap your controller. If you're going to do Parsec and play against friends online, you're going to probably want to set up Pad 2 as well, just so that everything's configured when you get set up and start playing. I'm going to cancel that. The Dev9, so this is where we're going to configure the virtual disk. So I'm going to open this up. And you have two options, enable Ethernet and enable HDD. We're going to enable this. We're going to click options. And what I'm going to do is there's a placeholder directory that's created here, vhdd. Now you can create this wherever you want. I recommend creating it wherever you're going to have your emulator build set, so it's all together. If you do it on a different disk or a different drive, you know, mileage will vary, and you might run into some issues, and you might not. I don't know, but I just keep everything together. So I'm going to take this directory, copy it. I'm going to say browse in here. I'm going to paste my directory. I'm going to say open, so I know for sure it's going to create there. I'm going to click apply. Okay. And now the creation will depend really on your hardware. I mean, if you're running this on HDD, it's going to probably take forever and a day. If you're running on SSD or M2 chips, it should go fairly quick. And then when that's done and created, when you get into the game and you start doing some of the sports, all the sports stats, the Berman halftime show will be video instead of still photos. So again, it's not required to play the game, has no impact on gameplay or anything else. It's really just to allow the game to have video highlights for the Berman show, which I think is an absolute must. But again, it's not a deal breaker, and it's not really required. But these steps seem to kind of trip people up a lot, so I figure we'll go through the full build real quick here. Alright, so that's complete. We'll click apply. Okay. Something else that's included in the full one is this ISO directory here, which is the ULE438. You need this to fast boot to actually format the disk that was created, the virtual disk. You can copy that wherever you want. I already have it copied, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to ISO selector, browse, and I'm going to browse to my ULE. And then what I'm going to do is fast boot, and you have to fast boot this, otherwise it'll get wonky on you. So we'll do file browser, and we're going to go down to miscellaneous and down to HDD manager. And when you get here, there's nothing showing. Just hit the R1 to get into the menu. Go down to format, and then it'll be default OK. Just click OK. This is going to go ahead and format and create the partition for the disk. So you see that it's done. We can back out of here. So now your virtual disk is done. You can just come in here and say shut down. So at this point, everything's configured. It's ready to go. What we'll do is we'll boot the game now. Actually, I have to mount my disk. ISOs. Okay. I'm going to full boot. So if you configure everything and you boot the game for the first time and you're not seeing the textures and your CPU does support it, you just have to cycle the plugin. So by default, F10 will turn on and turn off the plugin. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to F10. It should turn it off. I'm going to F10 again. It should turn it on. I didn't see any change here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and config. And I'm going to take a look at the video GS plugin settings. It's disabled right now, so I'm going to enable it here to make sure it's enabled. And then I see that the textures work. So a lot of times you just got to enable and disable, and then you're good to go. So from this point on, you're good. What we can do then is take a look. We did load those memory cards. Okay, and then you can load, there's the included VIP settings and playbook are from the Raid Sports guys. Still, there hasn't really been a lot of updates to that. We've been working on other stuff. The week 1 ratings are here for high and low. And then you have the virtual disk here, which is the HDD. And this is really, again, just used for video replays for the Berman Show and Sports Desk stuff. But you can also save files to it too. So just proceed with caution, because like anything, if something happens to it, becomes corrupt, you might lose that data. So, alright, so that's it for the full install and build. And also too, for rosters, you can use any rosters that you want. You can go to NFL2K5rosters.com. You can grab rosters from there. You can load them. The only thing is, if you're using roster files that aren't released from one of us, from our team, is that the player photos probably won't match and will be kind of wonky. So just kind of keep that in mind. And if you want to, you can come back to the main site here, the GitHub site at the very top, down here. Underneath the main logo here, you'll see click here for this year's roster. So all the roster work that we've done and shared to this point will be available. You just scroll down here and you can you can download what you want from here. And we should have some more stuff coming out for the roster, so just kind of keep an eye and check back. But that does it for setting up the build fresh. So for everyone that has an existing build of the mod already, you're already using it, and you just download the patch, the fix, the patch, all you're going to need is you're going to download that, you're going to extract it. Once you extract it, you'll go into the directory. You'll see in here there's an included document with a README. There's some information in here. It also includes some of the change work that we did for this one. But this is super easy. What you're going to do is you're going to go to your current build. And again, because of the name change with the directory, you're either going to be looking at, for anyone that's using this new 1.5 and forward, the directory for 1.6 emulator will be the PCSX2_NFL2KR. If you already have an existing build set up for this, the name of the directory is going to be NFL2K5Res_16. And again, all that means is that it's the stable version 1.6 of the PCSX emulator. So for this one, I'm going to dump this into the one that I just set up. So all you have to do is extract. You're going to take all the contents that you extracted. We don't need the README or the document, but the rest of this we're going to need script, textures, text config, and then also the scripts too. So we can either copy or move this. I'm going to copy this. And then when I'm asked to, I'm just going to go ahead and say yes to replace all files. Yep, so we'll let that replace everything. And the notes for the patch are super easy. They're going to be here on the site as well after you download. Okay. So once that's done, then you can just launch your game. And all the updated textures and everything will be there for you. So what I did and I included was some really quick, really simple selection scripts. And what it's going to allow everybody to do is to change a few of the textures. So there's this script that you'll see now, which is script indicator buttons. This will allow you to turn on and turn off the player indicator if you want to, as well as switch if you want from Xbox to PlayStation for the button layouts. And then also there's going to be the script for the pigskin for the football, so you can change just a couple textures for that, as well as the broadcast network. So I'm going to go ahead and launch. I'm already in a game here. But I'm going to go ahead and launch the script just to show everyone kind of how to do this. This will be in your main build directory. You're just going to launch the script file. It's going to come up. You're going to have some options here. And you're going to select what you want. So let me just resume this here. And we'll see we have ESPN up here at the top. So if I want to switch the broadcast to, say, Fox, I'll hit 1. You use the F10 key to cycle off and on the plugin, and that's going to cycle, so you see it'll make the change for you. So if we do CBS network would be 2. We'll just cycle this again. You'll see CBS is there. 3 for NBC. and we're going to turn off and turn on just so you'll see. Now we have NBC, so this is going to let you change some of those, and it's really at your discretion. You can use it, you don't have to, but it's kind of cool to give everyone a little bit additional control over some of the textures to see what you want without having to go in and mess with the YAML file and everything. So I thought it'd be a pretty cool, sweet, simple script to offer everyone. So let me set this back to ESPN, which is 4. I'm going to turn off and turn on the plugin just to cycle it, and we can see that. Let's kick this off, and then we'll take a look at the ball. All right, so I'm just going to jump into a replay here, and I'm going to come here. And ever since CujoMatty shared the, just kind of getting rid of the player indicator, I've been using it since, and it's default for all the releases, but some people want to keep the player indicator on. So we'll take a look at that in a minute, but let's just take a look at the ball. I'm using the 2K5 logo just because it's kind of cool, and that's what I like. But we have options here. There's a couple extra, other textures. You can do 6 if you want the gold look. We'll do 6, and we'll just cycle the plugin. You can see the ball's gold now with the Wilson. I also put in there the Super Bowl LVI. We'll pick option 7 for that. Cycle it. You can see that it changes here. I'm going to go back to 2K5, which is option 5. That's the one I like to play with. And then you can make these changes, which is really cool. And then if you want to exit, you just hit 8 on the keypad here. It'll get you out of there with a delay, or you just X out. The other script, which is for the PlayStation buttons, Xbox buttons, let's slide this over and take a look at this one. So if you want to disable the indicator, some people want to have it on. I'm just going to run this. Okay. So if I did option 1, it's going to actually enable that player indicator. Like I said, I don't use it anymore. I don't miss it. But for some of the players out there that are playing head-to-head games, using Parsec and doing other stuff, or it's just something that you like, you can quickly turn it on, turn it off using this script, which I think will help everybody. So let me get rid of that. And then let's see. So Xbox buttons. I am currently using the Xbox buttons. Let's resume here. You can see I have the XAB. Let me just pause that. So I'm going to change this to be the PlayStation buttons. I'm going to pick option 4, and then I'm going to cycle the plugin, resume, and you can see I have the PlayStation buttons. So I think that this is going to be a really cool addition for everybody to have and to use. I'm going to go back to Xbox because that's what I like. But yeah, I think the selection script is a nice add. It's really simple, easy to use. You just run it from the main directory, and then you have some options to pick and choose some of the textures that you can swap out. Some of the guys have been talking about maybe looking into something a little bit more robust, a little bit different with the selection scripts, which might turn into something different. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I'm just hoping that nobody has any super problems with it. It's, we'll see how it goes. So hopefully everybody enjoys 1.5. There's a lot of work in this, and I know everyone put in a lot of time, myself and others. So really big ups and big credit to everyone that contributed to get this to where it is. So really thank you to everyone on the team, and happy holidays. I hope everybody has a good time playing the 1.5 release, and spread the word, and keep supporting everybody that's doing this. We appreciate it, and take care and have fun playing 2K5. We'll see you next time.